But yeah, let's actually talk about liquid staking. That's my next point here. Sebastian, maybe you can share how that works in Cardano, because if I stake my ADA, there's no lockups. I can do whatever I want with them, right? I can provide them as collateral on a DEX. I can trade them. I can do whatever with them, or how does that work?
Yeah, so basically, Cardano works using epochs that are 5 days long. So rewards are paid out every 5 days. So you remember earlier when I said like, oh yeah, 15 to 20 days, blah, blah, it's kind of having some stuff. The reason it's like multiples of 5 is because Cardano updates the delegation snapshot every 5 days. And the way that these snapshots are updated and how it distributes the rewards is that every Cardano address is usually composed of 2 parts. There's who controls how to spend the funds and who controls the earned rewards for those funds. So like if you look at a Cardano address, you might notice they're longer than other chains because they usually contain 2 separate keys inside them. The reason this is useful is because it means that you can receive ADA without delegating, because you can have an address that's just the payment key, but like the staking permission is just like left empty. And then you can later decide to register to stake or delegate your ADA at a later point. And that also means that if you send your funds to a smart contract, usually what you do is you change the payment permission, right? The payment permission changes from your key to the script key, but the delegation key stays the same, stays yours. So that means that you can still be earning staking rewards for the ADA you've deposited in the smart contract. So by having like 2 separate keys, it allows you to have this kind of liquid staking system. And on top of that, there's no slashing, as I mentioned. And the reason there's no slashing is partially thanks to the fact that we have like this longer finality, because it kind of gives you some room to basically make some economic arguments to say like, okay, well, if there's somebody who's going to try and make an attack, they'd have to make an attack that lasts longer than a day. And then for them to be able to do this, they'd have to have this much stake. So it allows you to have like a much more of like a game theory oriented approach to discussing like how possible it is to do an attack, which is why like typically if you do this kind of like double signing of a block, it's not really an issue, because unless you have enough stake for this to matter in the long term, it's just gonna kind of fix itself.
So basically every ADA that's staked is liquid staked by definition. Is that correct? Just by default.
Because the addresses have 2 components, and so the staking is controlled by your delegation key that's included in your address, which can update independently from the payment credentials for the address.
And you mentioned earlier also the bonded ratio is around 70%, right, on Cardano? Yeah. Which means 70% of the ADA are bonded. Okay.
So keep in mind, there's no lockup period for this, so you can like move ADA in and out anytime you make a transaction, like it updates. That's why there's like the snapshot every 5 days, because Cardano, as I mentioned earlier, like they want to have low block sizes and try to make everything like really computationally efficient. So the reason that there's like these epochs of 5 days and it takes like 15 to 20 days for things to update is because they did not want to have the computers do all the calculations as they happen, because that would be too computationally expensive. So instead, like every 5 days, like your Cardano node will do like part of the calculation to like update all the snapshots and like slowly do these updates over time. So there's no kind of like one period of time where you need like a supercomputer to do all these updates. It's kind of done over time instead.
So on Atom, if I stake my Atom, they're basically locked. I can't move them. I can't do anything with them. It gives me access to participate in governance. But they're locked, right? So that's why right now we have this boom of liquid staking in Cosmos. There's a lot of different providers like Stride, Quicksilver, Staffy, P-Stake from Persistence. And there's this proposal that just passed, actually from Zaki and the Occlusion team, which implements this liquid staking module that Persistence already implemented. And it basically allows you to convert your already staked atoms with one click into a liquid staked token. So Zaki, can you maybe add up on that? And
I guess one thing that's sort of an interesting aspect of this is, we have the first form of liquid staking that was out there is Osmosis Super Fluid Staking. Like that was the first version. But the Cosmos Hub is an interesting position because there is no DeFi on the Cosmos Hub. We had an infamous governance proposition that called Prop 69 that was suggesting building some features to have DeFi on the Cosmos Hub. Or we actually tried to have DeFi on the Cosmos Hub. Osmosis beat the Cosmos Hub on that. We had launched this thing called the Gravity Dex, was not successful on the Cosmos Hub. And then we ended up with, Prop 69 failed, and so no DeFi on the Cosmos Hub. So that means that, but we do have this form of programmability on the Cosmos Hub called interchain accounts, which is an account can be controlled by another blockchain over IBC, which is kind of a wild concept. And so a number of teams, Persistence, Quicksilver, Stride is so far the dominant one, all decided to start building essentially mechanisms by which their blockchain protocol would manage staking through an interchain account on the Cosmos Hub, and then have representation of that stake that is being managed as a liquid staking protocol. So that ended up being, now there's actually always been two possible ways of building liquid staking protocols for Cosmos. Or there was this way, which was the only way that could be built with the Cosmos Hub protocols as it was initially, or like as it's been since interchain accounts became active on the Cosmos Hub, maybe over a year ago. And then there's this other idea, which is you could hold a basket of tokens on another blockchain and like represent that with a bunch of fungible liquid staking tokens. So philosophy of Cosmos has been, we're not going to try and control the market. Like Atom is not going to choose which liquid staking protocol is the winner or the loser. We're just going to, but what people have voted for is this idea of supporting the adoption of liquid staking, freeing up, Cosmos is also like 69 point something percent staked right now. And freeing up a portion of that capital to now participate in Cosmos DeFi as Cosmos DeFi has been rapidly growing, is in the interest of Atom holders. And so that's the direction we're going with the liquid staking protocol. But also the liquid staking module will enable this sort of basket of staking positions option in addition to the interchain accounts option. Though now that 3 projects have adopted the interchain accounts option, that just maybe be the de facto winner.
Yeah.